Hey, it's Ben. I just put together this little construction truck set. The company sent this over to me to check out. So I'm going to walk through it and let you know what it was like to put it together. Everything in the box came packed in bags except the wheels. I noticed right away that the hardware was very, very tiny. The instruction guide is very well done, and while some parts were pretty tricky, and I had to look very closely at the illustrations, they did show what I needed to see. But you do have to look very, very closely sometimes to see some of the deeper layers of parts and pieces. I do want to point out that this kit has instructions for 6 different builds, so you can build, disassemble, and build something different. So there's a lot of options there. So I think that's pretty cool. I do suggest using a bowl or bowls or something to keep track of the tiny pieces. And this does come with all the tools you need, which is mainly a screwdriver and sometimes a wrench. It was a little tricky at first getting the hang of working with the tiny screws and nuts. It requires a lot of times holding a couple pieces together while screwing the nuts on. However, I figured out how to make use of the table by sitting the bolts kind of upside down and laying the pieces on top of it. So you just need to be careful to follow the instructions as well, because if you put a piece on the wrong direction, it might cause you trouble later on. So for each step, I found it helpful to hand tighten all the nuts first and then go back once everything was together and use a screwdriver to tighten it down. In most cases, I could use my fingers to keep the nut from spinning, but some cases I did have to use the wrench, which, it's tricky to hold all this stuff together in your hands. There were a few longer bolts that were labeled by measurements, so you might need a ruler just to make sure you're grabbing the correct bolt. I did make one mistake along the way and had to flip a piece around. It was a little challenging, but it wasn't too bad. The final product really turned out cool. I think this is just a fun, cool little thing. I think kids would really like this. The truck has moving parts. The wheels move as well. And I did really like the details of having the bucket painted so it looks like there's dirt in it. Personally, I really enjoyed this project. I think it would be great for probably older elementary kids and up. It needs some dexterity and maybe an adult to help understand the directions a little bit. Great project for kids and parents or grandparents to work alongside. Took me maybe about an hour to complete, but you could do this in multiple sittings, I think. And again, I did not use all the pieces for this specific design because some of the pieces are used only on other designs. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching.